So, hello everyone, I'm Mondon here, and welcome to part 4 of the perspective of Knights of the Frozen Throne. So, basically yesterday, day 9, had a stream, right, where he was with the Blizzard, and he showed a couple of cards, we go through them, and I think one hunter card was showing yesterday as well. So the first card here, going as always, I'm going mana-wise, right, main arena, but that was something. So the first card here is called Snowflipper. It's a 0. It's a Wisp card, right? It's like the Murder Tiny Fin. And it might actually be pretty good for Hunter. And no one else. Right? It's a neutral card. Sulok and Hunter pretty much. So you play it out, it costs nothing. You can use it for your fodder. For example, the new 1/1 that could kill itself. You can use it of course for all of the different Hunter cards. Your hyena, especially, and so on. They also mentioned that was really good to the senior game side. He mentioned also that yes, they can use this for the make-a-beast card. So you can do this thing and use +1/1 on something random. So that's interesting thing as well. But generally, in arena, it's going to be really horrible. So if you're a hunter and trying to do like a really good face hunter, I think it's pretty easy to do. So if you drop this one and ally cat turn 1, that is really horrible. If you know, for the opponent even in arena. Even if they're mates, because you can hit them for 3 health next turn. You probably, I guess most people, if you could drop this, if you drop an ally cat, they usually do at least 4 damage to the face. An ally cat, they can hit twice usually before they get killed. So that's 1 mana for 4 damage. It's really good in arena. And if you put this thing wet ally cat, you can do 6 damage each on turn 1 and 2 before they can remove it, right? With their minion, it's like a shaman or something. So they can't remove it until turn 3 for them. This means you have a turn 2, but yeah, it means it's coin. Yeah, it means you have a lot of their potential. So it might actually be pretty good, specifically for Hunter though. Only Hunter in arena. Anyway, next card then. Dead Man's Hand. It's a pretty cool card actually. I like this card. It reminds me of a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like take your can, throw them in your discard pile, or like take this hand or change your discard into your deck. So yeah, like they have this weird stuff. Yeah. So basically, this card does that. You take your hand and you put it in your deck, right? And that would be something that happened in all other card games. So I like this card because it shows you that Blizzard, as again, this is not first one, but Blizzard is doing this digital card game. Right? So you can have cards, but we can still have effects that could happen in a normal card game. So in this case here, you just get a copy of them. Because if it is Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh similar, you would actually have to take your card and put them in your deck. Right? If you lose those cards, if you have them later on, for some reason you can do it. But here, of course, you actually do get like you get more of them. So it could be. I think it's gonna be a really cool card actually. Fatigue Warrior, of course, you play it because you can extend your deck, so you can have even more cards. Can really get milled, but also generally you can be like, oh no, I have this cool legendary in my hand, like these 3 legendaries. I can just copy them, get more of those legendaries, and of course play it out. In arena, it's probably really bad though. In arena, it's probably really bad. But I like it in Extract. I think it's gonna be a really cool card. In arena, the tempo loose is just bad. I mean, maybe late game in arena. If you wait for your good cards you haven't killed. But you need to have a good control deck for that in arena. It's hard. It's very hard. War, of course, is a bad class too. So, but anyway, here is another card that wasn't shown yesterday as well in the stream. And it's called Venomstrike Trap. I think this card is actually pretty good. It's probably good in box set in arena. But in arena, basically, it's very comparable to playing the Cobra in arena. And that's Cobra's 2/3 for 3. What's it called? Empire Cobra. I think like yeah. Anyway, the Cobra poisonous. 2/3 for 3. This is a 2/3 for 2 instead, right? So pretty much like that. It's very comparable in arena cost wise to the beer trap, where you get a beer with your taunt, right, instead of paying the beer with your 3 mana. So you shape 1 mana off. It's pretty much the same thing here. However, though, the trigger here is when one of your minions attacks, which is way better than your face in arena, right? Because beer trap feels like it should be just 1 mana cheaper beer, but you get it in your face is kind of uncommon. People will trade with you in arena generally. So this card here is easier to trigger, so I think it's a much better card than beer trap for that matter. Of course, the effect in itself is much better too. A 2/3 poisonous Cobra is just way better than a 3/3 beer, so that's way better. So it's like twice as good as beer trap, and that's it's really good in that sense. But yeah, I think it's a good card. It's probably actually really good with that new legendary the Hunter has constructed. So you can get this card, it's random, it can be really annoying for them, get a free poisonous minion, right? So I think it might say some play constructed if that Hunter Secret deck will work, then it should be in the deck. At least random one, but I think it could be like we have like 1 of them or so. It can be really annoying. Early game, some tempo, late game you can kill some big guys. Yeah, but in arena I think it's actually pretty good actually, because the ability is a trigger and you get your one ship moniker. Then we have Defile. I love this card. This is a really good card. I love the size of this card. So basically what happens is you do 1 damage to every whirlwind, but if someone dies for it, you do 1 more damage again, so you do 2 damage. And if die again, you do again, right? So you can actually do like, if you have a steer there, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can just do like, 7 damage everyone. So it's really cool. You can trade your minions, maybe like get one of your minions in your, then that minion will of course have less life, so you get like 2 life, and then you play this thing, kill another minion, kill your own minion, and you can like, so that's really cool. And in arena, it actually should be pretty good. I think it's going to be really good in arena. There will be a lot of cards sometimes when they keep your minion at 1 life, right? A lot of this like 3-1s hiding away, a 4-1, a 5-1, right? That's quite common. This obviously will kill it as any AoE with, but we also do 1 damage to it again, right? So you might kill like a 5-1 and a 4-2 and so on, right? So it has a lot of potential. You also of course have your own minions that are quite cheap, like that 0 Penguin, but something like that, right? And then you can play it out, do this thing, kill your own minion, and then do another swiper. So it's like 2 damage to everyone. So it's very interesting. It's probably easy to play in arena, even with having that, because you can use kill your own minions and so on. This just looks very strong. I think it's easy to get at least 2 damage to everyone, like a consecration level of strength against your opponent. Should be easy to do for 2 mana, so that's a really good way. And of course you can pay 1 extra mana, like maybe like a 1-1 minion, that's 3 mana to do the 2 minions, so on. So it's just really good. It also should be good inside as well. I hope this card is really cool. It's a really cool card. Love this success. And it's another card I also really love. So people say, oh, it looks bad. I think it looks really freaking awesome. And I said, of course, and I said by that, obviously Shaman is going to have like some kind of Death Knight Frozen thing. We also see a legendary coming soon as well. But this card, Cryostasis, it's give a minion plus 3/3. And I have some comment people like comparing it to Demon Infusion, whatever it's called, the one I ever played, that gives someone a 3/3 minion and your opponent gets a crystal. But this is so much better. It's not even comparable. That thing is like give your opponent like crystal. It's insane. You give them like a permanent coin, right? That's cray. This thing is just you freeze their minion or your minion. So I mean, yeah, like that is way better for you. If you freeze your minion, okay, you can't fight this turn, but depending on then having 1 more mana permanent, there's an enormous difference. And of course, the flexibility in this card is really awesome. This is a great card because you can freeze dear guys, by the way. You can freeze your guy, you can freeze your taunt guy, but primarily you can freeze a dear guy, so you can attack them in the face. They can save you the game right in arena a lot of time. You can of course freeze your guy in the beginning to have a big minion, and if you attack again and put the taunt minion, you have to kill it anyway. And obviously you can use it to complete the new legendary that's coming soon here, but also of course the frost weapon, you can kill it, right? So it looks really interesting. It has a lot of flexibility. I love that with this card. You can use it on your 1-drop to get a 4/4 after it hits, right? That can be really annoying, and so yeah, it has a lot of potential. That's just really good because Mark of the Wild plus 2/2 in arena, it's okay. You can get a trader for someone. This can't get a trader, but 3/3 for 2 mana is really high value. And if you do on a taunt minion, it's really strong. And of course, again, then you can freeze their minion, which can save you some games, right? Not often, but it can. And of course, you also have some frost synergies coming, so it's like a really cool card. But it's epic though. So I will say that it's epic in arena, so you probably won't take it over like an Earth Elemental arena. It's not that good, right? It's not on like the Earth Elemental levels yet. But I like it. It's really cool design. I think it's going to be played a lot in the Frozen Shaman deck. So then we have this card, Shadowblade. Shadowblade is a 3/2 rogue weapon. It's like a Fire War X, but it has immunity you play it. Yeah, you're gonna pick it in arena. It's a 3/2 weapon, right? It's a little worse than Fire War X because life doesn't really matter that much. So this is like, and also I think this card, I really like this card in the sense that it's Battle Cry your turn. I feel it should be like when you have it open in your turn at least, it should be immune. I think that would be way better. Obviously, it would be better, but I mean, I think that would make more sense. Like, as long as you have it up in your hand, you're immune. Better side their turn, because then you'll be immortal if they can remove your weapon. But during your turn, so you can hit both of those attacks, wouldn't damage you. Then maybe a little point would be good. Now, yeah, that could be a little cooler. And in arena, not taking damage isn't that big of a deal. But if you can survive 2 attacks completely, like passing a 5/5 twice, right? taking no damage, taking 10 life, then it actually doesn't matter. Like, Rogue does the problem sometimes, so if you can remove 2 complete attacks into yourself, that could be big. But 1, probably not. It means to use a higher expensive Fire Warx. I don't think it's that good. Even in Construct, I don't think this card is that good. Yeah, you can use some play, some backstab. I mean, you might still play, but I don't think so. If it's like, even there, it feels like it's too weak. Maybe if the weapons are very important, like little poison and so on, probably not. But like, if the weapon thing is very, very important to use, you want more weapons, and you're using, like, to play this thing, give it more durability. But again, then, it's a bad attack right this turn. I think it should be, while you have this on and it's your turn, you should be immune. It would be way better if you kept having immunity, right? Especially for constructed, because then you need to, maybe if you buff it right, you buff it again, you get more durability, and you still take damage with it. Yeah, that's feeling very good, so it's pretty weak. But I love this card. I once back in the time, like I applied for a job way back for Blizzard, like every day, but yeah, like a few times. Right? And one of the things I did, because I asked for like design your own cards, I decided this card I called slow, and very simple. It was like pay 1 mana, your opponents cost 1 next turn. Yeah, it's like, you know, your opponents are, it's like a very easy version of load them. And I noticed I did this way before load was released. I designed this card, sent it to Blizzard, and so on way before I showed load them. So it was like 3 years ago. So I actually need to work at the company, right? So yeah, so that was way back. That was my idea. I wanted a slow card for Mage. So here they kind of get that card. So I'm happy seeing this card. Or am I, or if it's some of these, I don't know. But yeah, basically it's like your opponent has to play 1 more per turn, right? We saw the Unraveler 2 days ago, or whatever. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, okay. But I think this card is only you, and it's very cheap. But it's a big difference here. Load costs 5 mana. The Unraveler costs 6 mana. This card also costs 3 mana. So we block stuff very early. Her body is weak though. It's still on the sort of, but it's really cool. It comes so early. It's really badass. In Arena then, I mean, yeah, it's gonna be like a Unraveler thing in Arena. You play this turn 6, they can't play Flamestrike. You play this turn 5, they can't play Spectral Steed. You play turn 7, they can't play Dinosaur. They're gonna have pretty much the same effect. You're gonna block off their really like turning around spell they can play on that next turn if they can't kill her. And if you don't have Mint on the field, so you have to kill her with a spell, right? You know that, okay, they have to pay something to kill her off. I mean, generally, you can't play her on empty field, right? You can, but I mean, you have to have the field control. If you have the board control, if you play her, and you can remove the means on the board, and you leave it you having her alive, that's good for you, because then you know they can't remove her with a weapon or something, and then a spell. So you know they can't use their this turn's maximum cost of spells, as it's Unraveler. But Unraveler had a lot of health too, so it couldn't be removed. But yeah, it's pretty good turnaround card though. You put the thing, fireball something, play her out. Their turn, they can't use a spell to remove. They can, but I mean they can't use the high cost of spell. So should be pretty good. Extracted, she can be very interesting. Very interesting. You can see like, oh, I play this card now. You can't play this combo because the combo costs like 3 cards, 2/2/2, or like 2/3/2, and if you play this card, suddenly it costs you 4 and 3/3, and then you can afford that. So it's very interesting. It's very cheap, right? It's like a cheap low to block there. Because Unraveler is so expensive, so you can't really throw that thing out and then also do a big tempo swing. But her, you can do a 7 mana play and block them, like slow them 1 turn. So she might see a lot of play. I think it's really cool at least. In Arena, I think she's interesting, maybe not that strong. Unraveler is probably much stronger in Arena because of its stats and its 2 mana. I think it's okay. It's okay in Arena. Then we have this card, Prince Valanar, which actually is disappointed in. I don't like this card at all. It's very simple. It actually looks pretty bad to me. I don't get why they made this card. And obviously, as I predicted, last part I said, okay, next Prince is gonna be like 4 mana have no 4 mana minion play this effect. Sure, but I think it's horrible. Like the other guys were either your whole deck is 1+, right? And the next guy is like I can't remember. Oh, he's a clone. Yeah, the clone. He clones stuff. He becomes a face. That's interesting. A lot of combos in that. This guy is just a 4/4 with lifesteal and taunt. That's crap. But this guy is horrible. This is probably the worst card, the worst legendary in a long time. This legendary is really bad. Prince Valanar looks horrible. Like how would you use this card? Even in Arena, it's horrible, right? And Arena is all about having strong minions. Like, Arena, you'd rather have a Yeti in Arena, 4/5 pretty much, than lifesteal and a 4/4. The taunt doesn't mean anything. So Like, I think this card is worse than Yeti. This card is so bad. I don't get this card. The Prince Valanar, he is so weak. What's the point of this card? In Constructed, it's almost arguably also better to have just like a Yeti. Like, probably not lifesteal isn't better there, but it's like really like, you know, 4/4/4. He should be like a 5/5 or something for 4 and have this effect. They have a good stats and he might get lifesteal, or he get lifesteal because he decks out. He looks incredible. Looks incredibly weak, to be honest. Yeah, really weak. Because I mean, you have to think about it. Okay, with Yeti, Yeti's better stats, and this guy has lifesteal and taunt. That sounds really good, but you can't play on order 4 minions. You can't play your true silver rod. You can't play this thing. You can't play consecration and Defile. If you're the new card, corpse taker. If you're mage, you can't have polymorph. You can't have fireball. If you're druid, you can't have swipe. Right? The list is pretty long. A 4 is really good. There's a lot of really good 4 spells and 4 weapons and so on, right? So to play this guy and say this guy is barely better, because I always say that Yeti and so on are almost better because they're better stats. Lifesteal isn't that high valued. It's better high value than consecration in constructed, but in arena it's really low value. I would say lifesteal. So it's like in arena he's literally worse than Yeti probably, even with his abilities. But also of course means that even ignoring that you can't have order 4 stuff, right? So it looks insanely bad. This card looks like the worst lane that I've seen in years of Hearthstone, seriously. Because his effect is so weak, it's so instant effect, right? Makes him a decent 4-drop. Like a decent 4-drop. And then you can't have polymorph, you can't have fireball, and so on. Shaman has pretty bad for. I mean, yeah, maybe. I can see this card being played, and I used to say this before I go on here. This card might be played in a very specific, okay, like Shaman. I can't think of a Shaman 4-drop right in my head right now. Yin Yun, but I don't play it. Yeah, like Shaman doesn't have like a very strong 4-drops. So for example, you might play it in Shaman because you don't have any 4-drops anyway, right? You have to find like a class that has no good 4 cost, and also mean 4 spells, well, because it's 4 stuff, right? So the opposite Paladin is a no-no. Even getting a new 4 weapons, well, yeah. Paladin is a no-no. Mage obviously a no-no. Druid is a no-no. Rogue is maybe okay, yeah, but you have to like find that class. You have to find that class, and then you can say, okay, I can play this guy. Maybe, like you don't have no 4-drops. But it seems really weird, like really weird. He should have so much better. He could be like, he's at 8/8 if you don't have any 4-drops. Like that would be something reasonable. Wow, that card is bad. Anyway, next card, Eternal Servitude. I love this card. This card is freaking awesome. It's quite simple, right? It's like resurrect, and also mentioned in the stream you're gonna have more resurrect card. But yeah, you play this card, you resurrect something, but instead of randomizing, 2 mana is randomized resurrect. It's 2 more mana, you discover that. So first and foremost, if you play a turn 4, you're very likely in arena can use resurrect 2 minions, maybe 3. But basically, you will have at maximum 3 minions. So if you play turn 4 in arena, you will discover one of the minions you lost, right? And that's pretty okay. Not worth 4 mana though, because at best you get 3 minions, right? But still, you know what you get. You know that you get the best minion you lost until turn 4. So that's okay. But I think this card is actually quite good in arena, because generally you can of course play. This is not a turn 4 play. This is more like a turn 8, 7 play, 9 probably plus 10 primarily. So you play this card, let's say turn 13, and you freeze, so you have a long arena plan, right? You will likely see at least 1 good minion, because, you know, yeah, like mathematically, say you have played 9 minions. It's a good value there. 9 minions at turn 11, like, yeah, turn 12, 11. Played 9 minions, and so obviously you will see a third of your minions, so 3 of 9, so 30%. And of those minions you played 9 minions, you probably played about 2 or 3 mid-range, and about your priest, so you're playing this card. So you probably played 2 or 3 minions, probably made 4 minions maybe. You probably played at least 2 big guys, really big guys, and like 2 to 4 cheap guys, right? So you have a little edge of having lesser cards, but generally you're gonna see a mid-range card or a lower card and potentially a big card. That's obvious. But mathematically wise though, I would say the chance of seeing the card worth 4 mana is really high actually, because if you combine then really high minion cost like 2 there and mid-range, which is like 3 to 4, that means you have like 5 or maybe even 6 cards that is worth 4 mana. So the chance of getting, because you discovered it, the chance of getting a card that is at least worth 4 mana if you play this turn 10 or later, which you should aim to get as a priest, then, you know, that is really easy. That is easy to get off. Really easy. But then again, to have it being worth more than 4, that's probably 1/3, like, or roughly so. 1/3, maybe 1/4, to get like a really, really high valued minion. The later you play it, of course, the better probably. If you have a really high spell deck, which you should have a priest. So yeah, like, it sounds, I think it looks really good. As long as you play it like past turn 10, because then you should have played at least, so you have a high chance of getting a little Yeti. Like Yeti or something better is what you expect for this card, right? And obviously, as it costs 4 mana, getting a Yeti is good enough, and then you cannot get up to like a 9/8 drop, right? So it just looks really good. In constructed, it might be fantastic. We have the cover classic Blood 4/3, resurrecting in your blade and so on. But I don't know exactly though. It might be really, really strong. You can you have several cool legendaries. You can probably just have one of them. You need to play very few spells in the beginning. I mean, a lot of spells in the beginning. A few minutes later on, yeah, it should be really good. It should be really strong actually. But I think primarily it's a combo. Yeah, I don't know how good it'd be there. Resurrect wasn't that hard to play actually in Constructed if you had a deck built around this. Could obviously work then. So, the next card then. This is to me is a very typical like Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic card. It's lovely. It's like, well, if your opponent steals more life to you, they just say like do 1 damage to your opponent. They balance in Magic. But if they have 1 more life than you, even after you did 1 damage, so 200 damage, repeat it until you have, you know, the same. Like, yeah, like pretty much deal damage to your opponent because that's your life, or like kill opponent's minion, and if they have more minions to you, kill another one until you have the same, and so on. It's kind of classic Magic, and we see also Yu-Gi-Oh and so on. So you see this card here, and it's just like if you have no minions on board and they have 7 minions, you will get 7 1/5 taunts. If they have 3, you have 0, you get 3 right there. And if you have, and they have 4, you get 2, you get 2. So the difference between your numbers is what you get, right? Easy math, easy peasy math. I don't know how good it is though. Doesn't feel that good to be honest though. It basically is, I mean, it's probably good in Constructed if you have you have some swing backs, you have some. But Druid lacks a good board clear. They had a new board clear. They had a new Fate Spin, a new board clear, but Druid lacks good board clear. It's kind of hard getting the board back with Druid. So if you play this thing, get like 5 guys to protect you. Well, it's very anti-aggro though. It's very anti-aggro regardless. So that is true though. If you play like a Face Warrior, a Hunter, and you use coin this turn 4, they probably have 3 minions on the board, and you get like a 3/1/5 with taunt. Yeah, there's like 15 life. He's at 15 life there with, you know, with like a 4 player, and you also get some damage from the minions. Yeah, that is really good actually. So it's very, very anti-aggro. But otherwise, I don't know, yeah, I feel like in mid-range or control, it's probably not that strong actually. And because in an arena, you would trade, I think in arena it isn't that good. You probably can play it out. The problem is you have to lose, right? That's the first problem. You have to already be behind to play this card. You have to already be under them, right? So you can get back. But by getting back, you will very likely have a hard time getting back anyway. You get this thing out and you can't kill them anyway. And then you sit there and you have a shit. I don't think it's a very good card in arena. I probably won't pick it. I mean, I picked it to try it out because I was picking 3 cards, but I probably don't recommend this card. It doesn't feel very good. Even in Construct, I don't think it's that good actually. I mean, it's very good against aggro, but otherwise, I don't think it's that good. It's hard to say. I haven't seen all the cards yet, but Druid doesn't have a good turnaround card, so yeah, that's a problem. But I like the effect. I like the effect, and they're very likely going to be much more of these if they have this. If they have more mana than you do this, yeah, it will be more of that probably. Then we have Moorabi. I actually really love Moorabi. Freaking awesome card for Blizzard. This is a really cool card. So Moorabi is the mammoth in Guldarak. Is that what it's called? In Suldarak. I think so, right? Guldarak. That's a place in Suldarak. Suldarak is the area, right? I always love the region in World of Warcraft. We see all the trolls that kill the Loas, and we go around, you can find the body of the serpent and so on. The mammoth, whoever explodes says the mammoth, this is like a big crater. Yeah, the crater of Mamoto, or something like that. And Magnus our father, right? Anyway, yeah, Moorabi is the second to last boss in that instance. It's a mammoth. And I don't know what he's... I guess they are shamanistic guys, but I don't know if it's But he specifically is the guy because... Did he have frost abilities? I can't remember his frost abilities. Anyway, if you freeze something, you get to hold this. This is really awesome. It goes back to that, of course, that's the new Cryostasis where you freeze your own minion or their minion. So you play Moorabi, you can freeze another minion, then you get that minion. So you can freeze their legendary and get that, right? You can freeze your own guy, buff that guy, and get that in your hand. They show in the stream, of course, the new 2/7 with taunt freeze, so you can freeze something when you play Moorabi. They even go on curve, right? She's a 5-turn play, so that's probably going to be something common and expected to see from the future. You play her, remember her name, Voodoo Hexer? Yeah, Voodoo Hexer, turn 5, 2/7, and then to 6 to play this guy, you hit something with her, you also get that card to your hand, which looks pretty cool, yeah. So you get like whatever they have in their field. It might be really awesome, but at least you get more cards, right? It gives you more options. So, I'd say with him, yeah, I think for sure, as I said last time, for sure, Shaman will have the Death Knight have some kind of frost, like freeze a minion or something, like frost bolting every turn, something like that, right? So obviously, if you play the Death Knight thing, for sure, you can play Death Knight, then drop this guy, use your hero power. If you have 8 mana, right, at that time probably, and you can get something copied. I think you can have like Frostbolt or yeah, something like that, or better, but yeah, kind of I don't know, but something like that, and you get this guy. So that sounds awesome. And generally, I like it because that is a cool card. Frostbolt's getting back. But also is against enemies, right? You can copy your stuff. It's very, very interesting. It's I mean, he still might not see any play because that deck in itself might be crap. Like you know how good the Frost Shaman's gonna be, but obviously Frost Shaman is what they're going for clearly, and the both legendaries are gonna be Frost. I'm actually surprised about that because I thought that we're gonna see. Obviously, we had the Frost weapon kills us and so on. So I thought we were gonna see like, okay, the Frost at night Shaman is gonna be very frosty, and with other legendary could be something else, but it also is Frost. So it's a little too much the same team though. So it might be really good or it might be a little too much. The problem I see with this, even though I liked how it works and I like this kind of the side of it, is that it might be a little too much. Like the deck is finished already. You have to pretty much include all of these 20 Frost guys in Shaman. It doesn't work, that might happen. So the problem generally could be that even if it's a deck that isn't played that much, if you face the deck in arena, expected, yeah, okay, this is the deck you're facing. You know exactly the way what deck it is probably because they have very, very set decks, right? You can't really go out and really reshape them. That could be a problem. That being said, though, you mentioned arena, and this card obviously isn't playable in arena. It's, I mean, maybe like if you have a lot of Frost minions, and if there are a lot of them in coming, you might pick someone late after you pick him, and that might be good, like get the 2/7. Because the one thing is, of course, if you manage to copy like 2 cards or so, even 1 card, that is strong though in arena. A card that generates more cards in arena is very, very strong. So maybe like if you have a lot of Frost guys, I suppose it should be good because you're getting a lot of cards from him. If you get like 1 card, but probably only got the 1 card at most in arena, so probably not good enough. And then of course lastly we have Frostlit Jaina. Let's say Janna first. So Jaina, this is a card I actually saw a week ago maybe, but it looked kind of weird and it looked really weak to me. So I thought it was maybe fake, and people say it's probably fake, but it actually is true. You can show a better card effect here. She also shoots Ice Touch. So I don't know. She looks really weak to me. Really weak. Not as weak as Prince Valanar, but yeah. So Frostlit Jaina, she does a 3/6. So you get a water elemental. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if you summon ice elemental? She's a Frostlit. Why are they still water shaped? Anyway, yeah. She summons 3/6. It's no water elemental. That is very impactless, right? The impact is horrible. But like the hunter, just 2 to everyone. This doesn't do much at anything at all when you play it. Doesn't have taunt. It's a 3/6. It's a typical water elemental. However, though, all elemental gets life steal for the rest of the game, including that elemental. So if you have a lot of life, you can hit something and get 3 life back. So it's like, and obviously you play her with, I don't know, Pyrus and other elementals to get life back. But it sounds so weak. It sounds really weak. But I have though played an elemental deck on and off 2 months ago or so, 3 months ago. And it's like you get to rank 5 or so and you can stop there. And the thing with that deck is that it has a really, really high value. Like you play a lot of cards that gives you another card, right? So you really just turn around, and you have like 10 cards in your hand all the time, pretty much things like that. And you do lose usually to generally they kill you in your face, even if they aren't aggro, because you feel you can get the board back, but you don't survive. So when you play her, maybe you can heal yourself, but still it's like now it's so late, turn 9. Like if she was played with a worse ability, I mean the same kind of get lifesteal with Water Elemental, but they did have the buff on her hero power for like 5 mana, then maybe. This is so slow too. So anyway, the last thing she does then, because obviously things is Hobble Arena, but the last thing she does is that her Icy Touch to the Fire Blast will summon if it kills something. And that is actually pretty bad too, in my opinion. That's hard to get off actually, even instructed. And in Arena then, that means that you probably will get Water Elementals out of her though, if you survive that long. But I think she's horrible card in Arena. You have to have Elementals, and even if you don't, yeah sure, the only thing you can do then is you summon a Water Elemental, hits you for a little, and then later you will probably get Water Elementals from the build. You probably will though, but you have to survive for that. But yeah, that is pretty really decent. But compared to the Hunter is so much better. You played earlier, you can craft these crazy beasts, they're much stronger than a Water Elemental, and it's not, you might get one. This is a chance that you can kill something, including your own minions for that matter, and getting it sounds really weak. Like compared to Synergosa is amazing legendary card Arena, probably the best mage ever seen. I think so at least. In my opinion, it's the best legendary in Arena ever for mage, and this is like the worst probably. Well, Flame Leviathan, but yeah, okay. Like Flame Leviathan is probably worse. Ronin is probably better than this. Yeah, Ronin is better. He's a good stat minion, gives 3 Arcane Barrage to kill them, kill some stuff up way earlier than this. Easy to play, he gets more impact when you play him. Yeah. This is probably the second worst. Because Flame Leviathan is really bad. So yeah. But I mean, given that chance, you will see this card with Synergosa, because they usually have waiting the new cards high in Arena. So if you could pick this or Synergosa, you should really pick Synergosa way more. That's for sure. Because like that, I don't know, she just seems awfully weak. But I know that they cast high value and eventually you get there and it's pretty good. So maybe, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. It looks weak. Especially that her power doesn't do anything when you play her. Well, okay, if you have a good board and you turn around, you can like, oh, I also heal yourself for 10 life because I could hit with my minions. But yeah, you need to have a decent board when you play her. You need to pretty much be in the lead already, so you play her the ability, use your blaze card to heal yourself. Right? You need to be in the positioning, and I just really don't see it happening. So yeah, that's it for this part. Look at the new cost card here, a lot of freezing card. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the other, like the priest. I think the Shadow Priest was mentioned. That's really awesome. I want to see the Shaman legendary. It's going to be something freezing. Warrior will obviously be something really enraged. It's going to be cool to see. I actually have no idea what Druid will do. I have 0 idea what Druid will do. But anyway, see you guys and have a great day.